Thank you very much for inviting me here in such a august gathering. I thought smartness is the criteria for business. And this session I have seen you all are very smart. Your minister is smart, environment is smart, so it is a good beginning. I am very sure this is the criteria for your business. I understand the minister who said very important things to you is willing to go because he is a very busy person, but what he has said is also very important. The important things are the inputs for agriculture. The production depends on agriculture, and marketing for agriculture, quality for agriculture, packaging for agriculture, and these are the qualities for exporter. So these are the key for any business. Today, I am very glad Dr. Padjoshi, your director, who is also another smart person, invited me for this conference. This morning, Naushad received me, and I was very glad. I came along with Dr. Shiv Swarupji, who is also director of Indira Gandhi Open University, and all the people who are likely to give speeches here are very noble and very knowledgeable person. I shall try to curtail my speech because I understand everybody has the speech. The speaker like Kamal, Kumar, Darbar, Jaideep Roy, Gandhiji, Bapurao, Rahul, Kumar, and my Patrakar Pranavinath Joshi is here, and Dr. Reddy, Dr. Swarup, Dr. Ravi, and the one who introduced me is Dr. Anil Karanjikar. We all are grateful to you all. But in research and in science, it is said that Anu Bhadra Kratavayantu Vishvata. Let the noble thoughts come from all over. For example, minister said something, Dr. Sarup will say something, I will say something, and our job is to hear from everybody. It is my great privilege that I am invited here. An invitation I must thank to Dr. Pathan, Dr. Vamni Director. In my keynote address, I will give the importance of agriculture sector, which is the backbone of this industry. And you must provide you must know with the current knowledge. An alternative for the minister says that 7% of the crop is under sugar cane and 70% irrigation it takes. So that means 70% water resources taken only by one crop. So if you have to accommodate you have to make sure the alternate arrangement has to be made, and he suggested the deep irrigation. I'm very sure we must have a correct assessment, then we can solve the problem. He also said that he travels on his own fund abroad because he also realized government is not a solution. In fact, government is a problem for the solution. So you as a business, you don't depend fully on the government. You have to develop your own thing, and there is always saying that there are no bad student, but the bad teacher. So you have to have good knowledge, both from the good teachers, and then conference should be a place where we must learn from others. It is not only a place where you eat and do chit-chatting, other thing. They say, singly, you do nothing. And together we decide that nothing can be done. That should not be the purpose of the conference. Together, we learn from minister, we learn from the scientists, we learn from you with the interpretation, and we must learn various ways. He said there are several ideas. Even Einstein's or Newton and many people, they got ideas from failure. We can learn from the business mistake, business opportunities, business other things, and from that we can gather the new technology, new things. Because I understand the business, definitely we need agri inputs, banking, marketing, development sector, and many other institutes. And you as a student who are learning from the best teacher here, I will make sure that you can provide the better answer for the modern India. The role of micro and small medium enterprises is very important in agriculture, as the minister said very recently. As per the quick estimate of agriculture in all India, we know that there are something like 26 million medium-scale entrepreneurs. There we are 60 million people are involved. And therefore, green technology, climate change plays a very important role. I just say before minister goes, I can say one thing. The role of woman is very important. I know what is this woman? Woman is, they say behind every successful person, there is a woman. And this woman is that W for good water, O for good oxygen. Because if you take 3-cylinder oxygen you need per day. That means 2100 rupees per day you need for oxygen. Per year you can have so much money only on oxygen. W is good water, good oxygen, E is good environment, and M for minerals, and N for good nutrients. So this woman has to be in the front, minister, these days. See, we know that traditionally we have to have this kind of thing. So I personally feel that technology, other thing can provide the important, but we have polluted our water, we have polluted our oxygen, we have polluted our environment, and we do not have sufficient minerals and nutrients to feed our population. The minister did highlight it about the food security bill. I understand something like 176 lakh crore rupees is spent, and something like the 70 lakh million metric ton anaj will be distributed through this scheme. It is a gigantic project around the world. This is one of the biggest subsidy kind of thing given. But this will cost government this year 1,76,000 crore, but it will increase to 3 lakhs crore. So from where the money will come? Again, it will have to go to taxpayer. So therefore, you have to build good marketing. You have to have the good production. You have to build the good technology. You have to care for the climate. And through that climate change, other things, if you can assign, because recently I addressed the federal direct investment. I understand agriculture is the backbone of Indian economy, and is the most crucial role of socio-economic sphere in agriculture. Indian agriculture has been one of the remarkable success since independence. I am a student of Dr. Swaminathan, who contributed for the Green Revolts. I was a student of Dr. Borlaug, and I told Minister, your Mukhyamantri and me, we were studying only 50 kilometers away in America in 1972. He was only 50 kilometers away from me. He also knows me, but we understand the science and technology we learn from abroad has to be utilized for our country also. Now I remember, I always tell jokingly people that 40 years ago, when I went to America, hardly I could see one car in front of my house. And now I see in Nagpur, all the cities are crowded with the cars and cars. Is that the development? We really don't know. Our development remains in terms of our standard of living. Our standard of living is where we stand 68 amongst the world country in terms of the index and poverty. And they say, even the Tendulkar committee and many other committee, they say 26 rupees per day enough for the poor people in small village, and 36 rupees is for the although the federal direct investment, we expected a lot when the government came into the power. But I found that the FDA, following the 10 factors are important for federal direct investment. That economic factor, soil degradation, inadequate investment, technological factor, skills, alternating youth in farming, animal fodder, sustainable fisheries, monsoon prediction, human capacity building, technology transmission. If the strategies planned by the federal direct investment and local investment are put in agriculture, the economy may get a boost. But so far we understand the inputs in agriculture is coming in federal through NRI only. But I understand when I went to America in 1960, I purchased $1 for 4 to 5 rupees. And now you have to go for $1 for 64 to 65 rupees. I do not understand whether this is a real achievement we have. But once again, the NRI, non-resident Indian, which I was for last 30, 40 years, NRI remittance have beaten FDI. During 2011-12 years, NRI remittance got 63.45 billion, whereas the total foreign investment into the country was hardly 39.2 billion. Foreign investment is of two types, foreign direct investment, and the second type, foreign investment, is by foreign institutional investment in the form of portfolio investment. You probably, the students of business administration, will understand better than me, because I was the farming system economist for the World Bank for many years. We advised them what crop to be taken, what crop not be taken, but the foreign direct policies and other things are very important. If the policy fails, the country suffers. We really do not know, because during recession, many countries suffered, but India survived. So we want that again, if the dollar ratio can be brought back, our country may come up also. But so far today, we are definitely in a mess, and our economists, Chidambaram or probably Manmohan Singh, you should work hard on that one. I was recently in some meeting, I do not want to tell, but they say that Pramod Mukherjee would have a better Prime Minister than the current Prime Minister. We don't know. If they know the decision, they should tell it 5-10 years ago. But anyway, foreign investment is the key for any business, because if you do not have money, you cannot do anything. This is money talk. But Gandhiji always used to say, poverty is the greatest sin on this earth. And to improve poverty, we must build a strong economy. Without strong economy, we cannot survive. And therefore, we need to study the benefits of this marketing. We need to study the benefits of production. We also need to study the benefits. I will give you some statistic. I really do not know how many more minutes I can talk, but can I talk, Padjoshi, 10-20 minutes more? Okay. The important things in agriculture is that the Green Revolution contributed a lot. If you remember, before 1940, our India had only 30 crore population and production was 30 crore. The famous Bengal drought came and Bengal famine came. That time in 1960, when I was a MSc student, I found that several tons food were imported through government agencies from other countries. I was a student of Dr. Swaminathan and also student of Dr. Borlaug, and that time the government decision, Lal Bahadur Shastri and Indira Gandhi, they allowed government to import couple of tons of wheat in India. And then during 1960 time, the new wheat was formed in India. Our food bill, which was 5 million metric ton wheat was available in country, which now jumped to 90 million metric ton. And now we are self-sufficient in terms of rice, wheat, and other coarse millet. That's why government can think in terms of the food security. But think about the population then. It was only 30-40 crores when British left. We had 40 crores animals, and now we have 10 crore animal. But our animal, where we belong to, the human species, we have crossed 110 crore from only 30-40 crore. Now with that many crore, the 30-40 billion metric ton food wasn't enough, and now we have built 270 million metric ton capacity in agriculture. Without production, we could have been again a hungry nation's basket for the world. I remember when I was in 1970 in America, many American families used to invite me for dinner, and some of them married to American, they had children, they were half Indian, half American. They was thinking that the beggar is invited in their house. Because that was the impression the American had. I remember there was a Professor Padjoshi ji. I remember a professor in 1970 giving a lecture all over California. Professor Gary Hardin, why we should let India to starve now. I happened to attend his speech in California, and he was telling students like you that many Indians take cow dung in the kitchen. So many 400 students like you were looking at me that Indian eats cow dung. So then I told the Professor Gary Hardin, you may be the greatest economist of the world, but the topic of your today's discussion shows high level intelligence in you. You are telling these people, the Indians take cow dung into the kitchen, but you are not telling them they are taking dry cow dung to burn, to make fuel. But these people are looking at me that I eat the cow dung. So the wrong information can destroy the images. Wrong information created by around the world, that India was a basket of the world, of beggars kind of thing like that, had changed now. I travel more than 45 countries, not like minister because nobody pays my travels. But then I find that there was nothing you could do because now the image has changed. 40 years ago when I went to London, America, Indian Pakistani used to clean the airport. Now I go to London and America, I find Indian drive Mercedes and big cars, and the local people go in a local car. So the standard of India and the image of India has definitely improved. It has to do with you, because I remember when I was in America, only 17,000 Indian students there were doing doctorate or MSc. Now it's 160,000 next to China. So our image has changed, our structure changed. But again, when I was in America, the Japanese were rated very high because the standard, the economy, the status they brought after the World War II. Two countries suffered most, Dr. Padjoshi ji, in World War II. That was Germany and Japan. And those countries you look at now, they are the only countries gone high in terms of economic development and the trade market surplus kind of thing. So therefore, for this country, I personally feel the war has brought them into level. Now look at the phase one in agriculture, 1947-64, when Pandit Nehru said everything can wait but not agriculture, but Pandit Nehru is gone. But agriculture is still waiting. Now that time our production was very low. Our population was 3% and food production was only 2%. We were still imbalanced. The law of elastic demand says the food demand was very high. We imported Milo, we imported many other things, and that way we suffer a lot in terms of our security and other things. World wanted to use food as a weapon then. But now we see in 1965 to 1985, we Lal Bahadur Shastri say Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Then Indira Gandhi came. She was very strong support of Dr. Swaminathan. I was a student. We imported wheat. We studied. We did research. Many scientists of India and many farmers of India cooperated. And then the Green Revolution came along with the technology and input. The minister said, old technology is gone away. Or he still says that Panya Vinaya Gada Suni Jindagani Apuri Kahani Shetichi. But the water has become very scarce. Unless water this year, which is in good amount everywhere in India, it has to be stored, but we have a problem. They say that when there is a plenty, we forget. When there is scanty, we care. They say if you don't care for water, your tears will have to become water. You have to worry about that. Therefore, Neogen, planning, you are a business people, you are business management future. You must plan in such a way your technological achievement that you are planning what are the supply, what to be produced, what should be marketed, where is the market need. Because when I travel more than 45 countries, I found the European, other people, when Israeli Prime Ambassador came to India, he was with me for 2 days. We traveled produces in entire Vidarbha. This man knew who is the chief minister, he knew chief minister's wife, chief minister's extended family, he knew Ramtek. When we went to Ram and Ramtek, he probably knew why Hanumana did not come to Ramtek and other kind of thing. I was surprised. Then we gave him 400 garland to him. He said, see, you are wasting your flower. We are a business people with Israel. We would have exported this flower to make money out of it. But you people, India man, he said, talk and die. And Israeli man, work and die. The work culture in business is different. Our work culture, because if talking would have solved the problem of India, we have listened so many speeches of the ministers and many santas, other things. But therefore, work is worship. In your business also, I'm not a businessman. I'm more a scientist, less a businessman. But I do understand something of a business structure. Because I have nothing in my pocket, I talk less. If there's something in my pocket, I can talk more. I am allowed to talk more. I remember if you build your strength, then only you can talk. So there in agriculture and anything, now we build our strength. Now we are achieved from 30 million metric ton to 270 million metric ton. But Joshi ji, Dr. Swarup ji, if you look at the same time, China has produced 450 million metric ton. With the same population today, China can export 200 million metric ton abroad. So that simply means we have a probably better threat next door only. Because they can produce their things. Because there is now also, whether it is Diwali, whether there is Dashera, whether there is a minor festival, it is the Chinese who are happy. Whether it's a Nagpur market or Pune market, I see all the Chinese goods, starting from light to small things to probably holy pie, everything. So when there is a business thing, China takes the opportunity and coming in the market, and the world population, despite 2045, India will go ahead of China. That we will be more famous only but now 25 years of China was 21st beyond India. Now China is definitely 25 to 50 years ahead of us. So we have to catch in world trade, world market. We must be very careful. Unless we are not careful, the world will go ahead and we will only run behind them. The Green Revolution generated self-confidence in agriculture. We produce a lot. But again, the Green Revolution problems had become, I said, water pollution, soil pollution, environment pollution, our minerals were polluted, other things like that. So therefore, you have a challenge in production and marketing and your infrastructure. Now in the phase 3 in 85 to 2000, which is just few years ago, that mission was that whatever we got, the river pollution, environment pollution, it had to be corrected. Because China, we are only 2% polluter of the world. America produces 16% gases in the world, but America still you cut down your carbon emission. But America is a powerful, because businessly they are a stronger nation. We contribute 16% of the world's population, but we have to listen them. So you have to build the strength, both by your production, by your ability, then only we survive better. Now the phase 4, which is 2001 and presented today. Our scenario is that Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government, Manmohan Singh's government, we remember in 1990 we brought the WTO. Many people jokingly said that it was a war take-away organization. Then the government convinced us. Our $5 billion went to $300 billion. We are happy. We were happy as long as dollar was in line with the rupees, because $1 was up to 25. I told you 40 years ago when I went, it was only $4-5. Now it is dollar to 64 rupees. It's a tremendously drastic change in our policy. We have to make sure that our policy come in the line with the dollar, and we must make rupees stronger. Therefore, our government, which we think the production cost. Now what happened? The production cost has jumped. The gas prices has gone. Petrol has gone high. We have to find alternate resources. We still have resources such as gas. We have to be thermal power. We have a solar power. Our economy has to be developing that side. Therefore, present day scenario, we have to have the agriculture decline is taking place. And if you see today 110 crore population with 270, if we do not produce say 40-50 million metric ton every year, we will be imported again in the future in terms of agriculture, and there both your production, your marketing, your sustainability will affect Mr. Joshi ji. Your student should learn agriculture at grassroots level. Therefore, I feel the agriculture has become neglected in terms of education. Many graduates in agriculture I find in banking, many are vice chancellor only, but point is that we have to have agriculture in villages, because I remember many professors like me, when you go to farmer's farm, we tell farmer, you will have 10 quintals jawar per acre. The farmers laugh at us. He says, sir, हमने तो यहाँ बाजरा लगाया, हमको जवार कैसा आएगा? So the people, we are a bookworm, we know not practical side. I remember the finance minister of India once had a dinner with me. He told me we have expert in our committee who decide the minimum support price. One of the experts saw outside from the window the jaggery bales, and he was asking to the committee member, "ये fruit किस पेड़ को लगता है?" He said, "गुड़ाच्या भेल्या ह्या कोणत्या झाडाला लागतात म्हणाला." You see, our expert has to know, because I told you that Israeli ambassador, he knew everything about Vidarbha. I was surprised. I was surprised about the Mansur Wahib. I was surprised. He has so much knowledge. So the foreign market, foreign people, when they come to India, they don't come in the sightseeing. I remember when some Japanese people came to Nagpur and they were asked what Nagpur is famous for. We thought they will talk oranges. No, he said Nagpur is famous for RSS activities. So the Japanese man knew actually. So you have to go. You are business people. India's business depends on you. You have to know the other country. If you go to a Muslim country with some pig meat, you will be thrown out, you will be killed away. Similarly, if you go to some other Israeli country with something they don't like, you will be not wanted. So we have to know what they like. So Chinese knows what we like. We like bulb, we like menbatti, we like other things, we like these all are produced there and we are consuming at a cheaper price. Best thing is that our consumers getting less price for the product they have. But we can see our population in 1862 was only 22 crore, just like America today. 1947 we were 40 crore. 1998 we were 98 crore. 1990 we were 99, 1,000. Now we are getting 112 crore, and 2035 projected population 145 crore. And that certainly will go ahead of China. Therefore, in terms of production and other thing, we have to be very serious, and therefore the present widespread under and malnutrition in the country has to be stopped, because you cannot talk, they say the beggar cannot be chooser. So we have to build our foundation. We have to build our sustainability. Therefore, industrial countries, farmers constitute 2 to 4% of population. You look about, but Joshi, I told you I traveled 45 countries. I am not telling again the same thing only to impress you. But I found that I didn't find anywhere "Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara." So I happened to told to Rajiv Gandhi then, उसमें थोड़ा correct कर दो बोले कुछ देश जो Hindustan अच्छा हमारा, हमें कोई गरज नहीं. But problem is that those countries, America, Germany, Japan, Europe, France, Germany, these country people are dependent only 2% on agriculture. Those countries think Ethiopia, India, Uganda, many other African countries where I was working for 27 years as a World Bank advisor. These countries were agriculturally dependent country, dependent more than 40 to 60% agriculture. India people feel proud telling 80% agriculture. This is not a proud now. Now India has become many politicians, when they can say, we are 80% farmers rich country. On the contrary, it is 57% now. The India's population lives more now in cities than in. Now we have 6,40,000 villages, and now with claims 70%, now it's around 60% live in villages and 40% migrate to cities. But it has burdened the cities now. But if you look at the land population, we have, say, workable land is around 145 million hectares, 329 our geography, and out of that only 145 millions are cultivable. Out of that now the population from 40 crores to 110 crores, now the population is dependent on agriculture. 11% people produce, are not dependent on agriculture. They are driver, they are some clerk, they are other thing, they are librarian, and there is no suicide from that group. There are 48.7% population, they are dependent on agriculture with 0.01% to 0.08 hectare only in there, 1 to 2 acre, and there are more suicide in this group. To tell you, because I'm not frightening you, 260,000 male and around 40,000 women have committed suicide so far. Only question is that we do not know 100% whether they are genuine. But point is that they are committed suicide. I happen to be a member of that committee, and I traveled to people who committed suicide. I could see their family conditions were deteriorated. Only thing, when government gave them the package, it didn't work. Dr. Swaminathan Foundation, through me, we reached 44 families because he had given the money. Among those people are laughing. But point is that when you give the aid, people were given the cows, they wanted the chara. When they were given the buffalo, they wanted man to milk. So point is that subsidy alone will not solve the problem. That's why we said government cannot solve the problem alone. You have to build your character, you have to build your strength by your own effort. Work is worship is the only solution. Whereas only 18% people have only 1 to 3 acre, 11% people have 1 hectare to 2 hectare, which is only 5 acre, and 7% people have only 6 acre to 10 acre, only 4% people have 20 acres land. The other day I was addressing Nasik, and one girl among like you asked me question, sir, why not we follow industrialized countries? I said, what is our holding there? I said, girl, when I was in America, 25,000, 50,000 was holding in that country. Our holding is only 10, 15, 5 acres. How can we import the tractors, helicopter, other thing like that? Our technology has to be based only on our need. We have to make the small farms technology, or we have to make a cumulative farming where we can use the huge technology like tractors, the harvester, all this kind of thing. So we cannot depend on foreign technology as such. We have to modify the technology to suit our need. There is a saying that every successful person needs woman, and this woman, that water, good oxygen, good mineral, environment, balance is the nature. Nature gave us everything for our need, not for our greed. But our greed is so much that Dr. Swaminathan taught me genetics. He said, Dr. Thakre, we are a knowledge-rich country and action poor. Now, through you now, what we need, the action in agriculture, action in business, and through that, we can change the current scenario. Unless your base is good, you cannot do. Our 329 million hectare, which is net area is 141 hectare, and gross cropland, if you double crop, 190 million hectare, cropping into 134 hectare, opportunities can increase. But the point is that unless you make water efficiency available, we cannot increase your production, because production is going down because of soil degradation, because of high intensity, and market fluctuation is there. I remember the fluctuation market price, for example, cotton in February is 7,000. For March it is 6,000, April it is 5,000, and May is below 3,000. And it's the minimum support price. Minimum support price, unless this is Dr. Swaminathan Foundation report, when he was the Farmers Commission, says, whatever you spend, the 50% given on the top of that should be the minimum support price. But government only take the recommendation, they do not follow even at that higher level. Therefore, they only listen. Therefore, my friends, I remember poverty cannot solve our problem. India's 32 crore people live only $1 a day, and farmers are always in debt, and they only depend on borrowing. But if you look at the natural resources, India has 52% of global land, India also has 20 agroclimatic condition. Our sunshine is plenty. Our agriculture was contributing 24% GDP. Now it is coming down, and therefore agriculture growth this year is rated 3%. Unless it grows, industry growth is coming down. But you have to increase the agriculture growth, whereas your population is growing, stagnant resources, unless reduce, reuse, recycle, and then reuse the waste management, we will not sustain our agriculture. Agriculture is a big challenge. The importance of women in farming is very important. I'm glad there are so many women graduates are coming up, because I remember when I was in Africa, I was told by the World Bank there should be minimum 25% women in agriculture. And that was a mandate given to me. When I did the benchmark survey, there were 35% women already in agriculture. So that simply we have to have a basic benchmark. I'm giving you the basic statistic only because your business is dependent on this one. If you don't know what India produces, then only we know that India produces enough for our belly. But we know that India is not producing enough for future's belly. Because we are not only 110 crore constant. Our 3% growth is growing. Our population is growing. Food production, unless double, now by year 2035, our food production has to be increased by 100 million metric ton more. Therefore, our problem will be solved. Otherwise, your agri business, anything will suffer. This we have to produce more in less money. We have to produce increased capacity. We have to build capacity. Minimum support has to be there. Biological control has to be there. Need to new crop under climate change. Value addition has to be there because you are business people. Effective use of water resources. Run of water should be stopped. And these are the many things. The paper goes on. I'm glad the Pat Joshi ji has managed to give you a copy of that paper, so I cannot read that one. The alternate to agriculture, live agriculture. 40% farmers interviewed today. The Times Group, they say they want to live agriculture. Some go politics, some do anything. Biotech. I was interviewing the other day 100 girls for biotech MSc, and there were only 5 jobs. And the people were asking very tough questions. One girl was crying. He said, I did MSc in biotechnology, sir. My mother died. I have no family, other member there. What do I do? My brother was the president there. I said, sir, can we take that girl? I said, unless you want. Point is that what production we are making? We are producing things which are not required. We are producing graduates which are unwanted. 70% graduates, engineering colleges are not giving work job. There are 200 top universities in the world. None of them is mentioned in this kind. So, but there is one business school from Bangalore is quoted in that one. So Vamnicom should build that kind of structure. We have to make such kind of efforts. Then we definitely can have achievement in our kind of thing. Therefore, I personally feel I cannot go on talking, but my point is that the business structure has to be built. You have to build infrastructure, and unless you don't build infrastructure, your business cannot succeed. For best business, best infrastructure is must. For best management is must. Indian Panchvarshik Yojana, many times they fail, not because of lack of money. They are failing only because lack of proper management. So you are the man of business, you are a man of management. I personally feel you will learn a lot through this deliberation, because I see the people invited here, the topmost industry people, and they certainly will brief you. Unfortunately, I have to go elsewhere for another conference on sustainable agriculture. So in a way, it was a good opportunity for me to interact with you. I said, शेकडो करोडो वर्षापूर्वी नव्हते ते पुन्हा आरवी. हळूहळू झाली निर्माणी धरती, नंतर झाल्या वनस्पती आणि जातीपाती. असंख्य जीवजंतू झाले निर्माण येथे, पृथ्वी पसरले सर्विते इथे ते. असंख्य जीवजंतूचे जीवन असे एकमेकावर अवलंबून. नका करू निर्माण येथे विचित्र टेक्नॉलॉजी. वापरता ही टेक्नॉलॉजी होईल नसते सुंदर. यू हॅव टू बिल्ड दॅट टेक्नॉलॉजी विच विल सस्टेन द ॲग्रिकल्चर, सस्टेन द बिझनेस. म्हणून मी असं म्हणतो, जा झटका रे, वाल्मिकॉमच्या पदी जाऊन लटका रे, वाल्मिकीच्या ज्ञानाचा पिऊन घुटका रे, मगच होईल तुमचे सुटका रे. धन्यवाद.